Welcome to Christian Authors Community. We are authors helping authors. We get together once a week and have a roundtable discussion about how we can use our platforms to further the spread of the gospel of Jesus Christ. If you want to learn more about what we do or how to join us, head on over to our website at authorscommunity.net. Let's jump into today's meeting. Last week, we talked about we talked about the importance or the power of email automation, and we went through some of that. And that was intended to kind of get you guys interested in, or maybe to be an eye-opening presentation on the power of email marketing, what you could set up, what you could automate, and kind of do a set it and forget it type of thing. And so this week is going to be talking about how to, if you're interested in moving forward with automation and some of the other things that you can do with email marketing, I'm going to walk down through some things that you can think about when you're choosing which email marketing platform that you want to go with. This is probably not going to be a very long meeting because there's only a handful of things that you need to be aware of. Then we'll have a longer Q&A session at the end. I'm thinking that some of you guys may have some more questions that you've had a week to think about last week's presentation, and then maybe what this week brings up. Okay, so here's what we're going to talk about in this presentation. So we're going to talk about defining your key requirements. What are the things that you absolutely have to need, that you absolutely need and require in your email marketing platform? We're going to talk about looking at your existing or your potential list. Maybe you don't have a list and you want to start one, or maybe you already have some people on your list that you're going to be bringing over. You're going to need to look at things like analyzing your volume, the volume of emails that you may send out, because that's directly correlated with the cost of platforms nowadays. Then we're going to talk about analyzing the technical features that you need. This will help you basically shortlist which platforms you want to go with. A lot of the features are pretty standard from platform to platform, but there are a couple of things that you may need or want that would rule a particular platform out. And so those features are things that you may need to think about for future expansion as well. Maybe there's a feature that you think that you will need down the road, but you don't need right now, and that may rule a particular platform out for you. Then we're going to talk about basically taking platforms for a trial run or a test, see which one works best for you, walking through their platform and seeing what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And then we'll get to questions. So let's talk about requirements. So when you start looking at email marketing platforms, what I would suggest you do is start a list of the key requirements that you absolutely have to have. Some questions that you may want to ask yourself is, will this platform integrate with my website? I know that in this group, we have a diverse number of website platforms that people publish on. Some people are on WordPress. Some people are on GoDaddy's website builder. Some people are on Wix or Squarespace. So you'll need to figure out if the platform that you're looking at has an integration with your website platform. We talked about some of the automation stuff last week, where you can hit the publish button on your website and have it automatically integrate with your email marketing platform, and that blog post or article that you write will automatically be sent out to your email list. So that's the importance of having your marketing platform, your email marketing platform, integrated with your website to do some of those advanced sort of automation things. Will it support the automation, the transactional, and marketing emails that I want? So some of the automation sequences that we talked about last week, will it support those automations? Will it allow you to do time-based automations? Will it allow you to do transactional automations? Let's say someone makes a purchase of an ebook on your website. Will this marketing platform allow me to send them a thank you email and then an email a week later that will ask them how they enjoyed the book, or if they're getting started and enjoy the book? Will it support some of those kinds of transactional things? And then will it allow you to do, which most, if not all of them do, different types of marketing emails where you can add links to your products or ask for feedback or different things like that, like one-off emails. Will it allow you to do some of that stuff? I don't see Craig here. Maybe he's doesn't have his camera, but he talked about text messaging last week. So is that a requirement? Do you need that? Will you need that in the future? Most of the platforms don't have that feature, but some of them do. So you need to think about if that's a feature or a key requirement for you that you'll need to get started, or if that may be a future thing that you want to move into. Are there any other integrations that I need? Will I need this marketing platform to plug in with my shopping cart? Will I need this marketing platform to be kind of a CRM for me? CRM basically allowing you to store customer information or things about your customers or the things about your list that you want to keep aside from just maybe a name or an email. Will this platform allow you to gather that kind of information on your subscribers? And then take a look at or think about what kind of analytics you need. Like, what are some of the key statistics that you want to analyze to make sure that you're serving the needs of your audience? Most, if not all, platforms are going to allow you to look at things like open rates, click rates, unsubscribes. Those are pretty standard analytics, but is there another kind of analytic that you want to evaluate? I can't think of an example of what that would be off the top of my head, but each platform can provide you a unique set of analytics, and maybe one is more attractive to you than the other. Do I need ads integrations? So a lot of the platforms have integrations to things like Facebook ads or Google ads or other social media ads integrations. And while that may not be something that you're interested in doing right now, that may be something that you are interested in a year from now down the road. So is that a key requirement that you need? Will that rule some platforms out because they don't integrate with Facebook ads and you do all of your social media on Facebook, or name your social media platform? So think about some of those key requirements, make a list of them, and that will help you as you start to research email marketing platforms to shortlist those. It will help you start to whittle those down. Then we need to talk about analyzing volumes. Actually, before I move to this next point, does anybody have any questions about this last one? Requirements? You can just wave your hand, or you can raise your hand in Teams. Yeah, Phil.
Yeah, you mentioned a one-off email. What exactly is that?
I just mean like a one-off marketing email that may not be like part of your automations. It may not be part of some sort of transactional stuff. It's just like a one-off email where you're just sending an email out to your list for some particular reason. Like, can you go in and just create a random email?
Okay.
Just to say, hi, how you doing? Or something like that.
Something outside of my schedule.
Yeah, just something random. What kind of flexibility do they allow you to do with just sending, one-off emails?
Yeah.
Like an example of that would be I know that like in Mailchimp, because I used to use Mailchimp, I don't use them anymore. But in Mailchimp, when you create an email, that's not part of a sequence or it's not part of any sort of transaction or anything else, they give you the option to just create like a regular text-based email, just as if you were opening up your email client in Outlook or Gmail and just creating a text email. A lot of the times, you just want to pop into your list and say, hey, my book's on sale at Amazon, and I didn't even know it was going to do that. Amazon sometimes does that with people's books. So what sort of options do they give you for just one-off sort of random emails like that?
Okay, thank you.
No more questions? Okay, so analyze the volume of the emails and subscribers that you have. This is important because once you get past the free tier, you'll have to start paying. So most of these platforms will allow you to sign up and give you some sort of a free tier or an introductory period for your email marketing stuff. So once you get past that free tier or you get past that introductory period, most of the platforms charge based on either the size of your list or the number of emails that you're going to send, or a combination of both. And so what you'll need to do is you need to do some basic math to see what kind of volume that you think you're going to be sending to analyze the cost. So just a simple example here. If I come in with 100 subscribers on my list and I'm going to shoot for sending 3 emails per week, maybe that's 3 blog posts per week or 2 blog posts and a, one-off email or whatever, just to keep my list engaged. That's 1,200 emails per month. So what tier does that place me in these various platforms? If you only have 100 subscribers on a lot of these platforms, that is going to you're going to qualify for basically the free tier. But the exception to that is a lot of the platforms also place a monthly cap on the amount of emails that you can send. So you need to be kind of aware of what your volume is to calculate that price. And so you also need to put some thought into what your growth is going to be, because you may quickly find that you outgrow that free tier and now you have a $10, $15, $20 a month expense for email marketing that you hadn't anticipated. And so if you want to try to add 30 people to your list a week or 30 people to your list a month, what is it going to look like 6 months down the road when now you're not at 100 subscribers, but you're at 500 subscribers and you're still sending 3 emails a week and you've eclipsed that free tier or your volume is over? What tier does that throw you into in the platform that you've chosen? And so, just calculating some volume or potential growth and stuff is going to help you figure out whether or not a certain platform is better for you than others. I'll talk about this a little bit later when we talk about specific platforms, but probably the most popular platform out there that most new people are familiar with is Mailchimp. Raise your hand or wave if you've heard of Mailchimp before. Okay, so the one thing that you want to be aware of with Mailchimp is they kind of get you in with their free tier, but once you eclipse their free tier, their paid tier is one of the more expensive platforms. And so just being aware of some of your volume and your potential growth and then looking at that will help you determine that Mailchimp most likely isn't the best choice for you. And we'll talk about some of that stuff a little bit later. Does anybody have any questions about volume or growth or calculating some of that stuff or anything like that? It's pretty straightforward, but technical features. So you've got a list of your key features. You want to look at maybe some more technical features that you could grow into or that you may need in the future. So most email marketing platforms offer similar features, but you want to make sure that you have all the features you want and need, and that you're not paying extra for something that other platforms provide as a standard. So, some examples of these technical features, which most of them have, but some of them may charge extra for, um, is list segmentation and personalization. So, what that means is when you have a list of people, you can start to segment your list out to different groups. So maybe you have a segment for engaged readers, and the platform allows you to segment your list out based on some of those analytics. And so engaged readers may be people that have opened 75% of your emails in the previous 30 days. You'll know that those people are engaged because they open most of your emails that you send out every week. Another segment may be if you've gathered some more data on your list, you can segment into male and female. You could segment into ages. You could segment into who's using what email client. So list segmentation is important because it allows you to send personalized, targeted emails to particular groups. Um, Obviously, the big one may be gender, right? You would send a different email or worded different and maybe look different to your male audience to then what you would send to your female audience. And maybe even different books or products that you offer may go to one segment as opposed to the other segment. So most platforms allow you to do that, and some of them even give you like automated segmentation. They'll just kind of do that for you. Um, but some of them don't. The other thing is personalization. So I'm sure you guys have probably got a marketing email before that has your name in the subject line. So, hey, Landon, I wanted to send you this, new product or something like that. That's personalization. Most platforms have the ability to do personalization. Some of them don't. So you want to see if that's a technical feature that you need or not. Personalization matters. It can be useful to use in some times and in different times. But that's just a thing that you'll need to see if you need or if you want to mess with or not. Split testing is another advanced technical feature that some platforms offer and some platforms don't. Split testing, what that means is, let's say you want to send out a marketing email for your new book that's coming up, but you don't really know how to word that email necessarily, or maybe you have two different covers that you're trying to choose from. So split testing would be sending one version of that email to a segment and a different version of that email to a different segment, and looking at some of those analytics to see which one has a better open rate, which one has a better click rate, analyzing the titles of your emails. Maybe you want to send out the same email with 3 different titles to figure out which email has the best open rate for title. Maybe you want to split test personalization, whether or not this email performs well with personalization in the title or doesn't perform well with personalization in the title. So split testing is kind of an advanced technical feature. I don't personally use it a whole lot, but I have used it before, and not every platform offers it. So that would be something that you need to think about whether or not you want to dabble in or not. It's a powerful strategy that you can use because obviously if you can split test a title over and over again and get to a point where you have a 50% open rate instead of a 40% open rate, well, then that's going to benefit you if you can split test something like that. Automation, like that was the subject of last week. Do you need automation? Do you want to use automation? Not every platform offers the same level of automation. So what kind of automation do you need? Is it just a welcome sequence that you want to automate, or do you want to automate different things inside your website, such as shopping cart integrations? This kind of goes with the next point of other integrations. What sort of integrations do you want to automate as well? And then other integrations, like, do you need it to integrate with your social media? Do you need it to integrate with your CRM? Do you need it to integrate with, XYZ? Just think about the tools that you use online and whether or not you need it to integrate with those for reasons. Landing and sales pages. So some email marketing platforms allow you to create sales pages, which is basically just a web page or a landing page where you could maybe throw up a sales page for your book or something along those lines, where you send out an email, and when they click a button in your email, it takes them to that landing page. Sometimes those landing pages can integrate with your website. Sometimes they stand on their own. So do you need something like that? Maybe you don't have a website, but you want to have a way to have a landing page for your new and upcoming book. So do you need that feature in your email marketing platform? And then, as we talked about with Craig's question last week, like SMS, do you need text message marketing? I will tell you that I don't know a whole lot about text message marketing, but from the data that I have seen briefly, if you can break into text message marketing, the engagement is much, much higher in text message marketing than it is on most other platforms. The open rates are better, the click rates are better. You just have a more engaged audience if you can start to build that. So maybe a platform meets all your requirements that you've lined out in step one, but also has some added features that you might be able to upgrade to as your list grows and you become more comfortable with email marketing. So maybe some of these split testing and automation things you think you may need in the future that you would expand into, that may rule out one platform as opposed to the other that doesn't have some of the things that you think you may need. The reason that this is important, thinking about this and analyzing this, as well as your absolute bottom line key features in step one, is that changing platforms is possible, but it's also messy. It's very hard to change platforms once you get into one. So my advice to you is to pick one that you can grow into, not just one that necessarily fits the needs that you have right now. So we're kind of working through this with CAC, where changing email marketing platforms, you technically own your list, so you can export your list from whatever platform you want. But the sequences and automations and analytics and stuff that you have on one platform do not come over to another platform. So if you have 4 or 5 automations that you've built on one platform, you have to redo those on a different platform if you move to something else. So you can re-import your list, but you have to redo all of your automations and your sequences. You don't have any of the historical data or analytics that you had from the old platform, so that has to be regathered. All of your groups and segmentation and all of that stuff doesn't come over. So you can move from one platform to the other, but I can tell you from experience, it is a real pain in the rear to do that. So choose a platform that you can grow into and not necessarily something that only satisfies your needs for right now. Does anybody have any questions about advanced technical features or anything like that?
Yeah, Landon, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, you say that we own our list, but where is the list actually stored or retained? On the service provider side, or is it on my laptop?
Well, it's both, actually, and that's a good point. So when we're talking about email marketing, you own your list. People opt into your list, and technically you own that. Now, You'll want to make sure that you do some list maintenance and export that list every once in a while so that you can actually have it on your personal laptop and take it with you, because if the list only ever resides on the marketing platforms, well, it's just like social media. If you do something that they don't like, they can cancel your account, and then there goes your list.
Right.
So it's a good point that you should probably do some maintenance once a month or once a quarter to export your list and save that off for yourself. But technically speaking, yes, you own that list of people because they've opted into to you and not the platform that it's hosted on.
Oh, and if you do decide to switch uh, e- email hosters, back in the old day when I was programming computers at my bank, whenever our bank, my employer bank, purchased another bank and we had to get their accounts into our system, we wrote conversion programs to to consider all of the options that the customers had at their old bank that needed to be carried over or translated onto our system. Is the same kind of conversion process available if you know when you switch to a new email provider?
Yes and no. So as far as converting over your subscribers, most of that is pretty standard. So you would just export a CSV of your subscribers from one platform, and the other one
Okay.
you would import it and just map the fields. And so, like, in your CSV, you would have maybe first name, last name, email, gender, age, or something like that. And so when you import that to your new platform, you would just tell it, this is first name, this is last name, this is email, and map the fields like that. So it's not really a conversion per se, just telling your new platform which fields map with which data. But the part of that information that doesn't come over is that I have seen is like your analytics stuff. There's no way to really convert any of that information over, which is why when you move from one platform to the other, it's really a pain, because that part of your list, there's no way to convert over. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, gotcha. Good answer. You used the word I guess I needed to hear, mapping. You map the old to the new.
yeah. And most of that data is pretty standardized. So, like, I've never run into a situation where one email marketing platform has a piece of data that the other one can't import. It's all pretty standard when you're talking about personally identifiable information. So it's names, email, age, maybe some address information, gender, uh, time they signed up, time they unsubscribed. Most of that stuff is pretty standard from platform to platform. All right. Testing. So most platforms offer a trial period where you can take it for test drive. Take full advantage of those trial periods. This is where you're going to use their templates and you're going to customize and their customization features. So get in there, sign up for an account. Some of them give you 30 days. Some of them, like I said, give you a free tier until you hit like 1,000 subscribers or 10,000 emails a month or something like that. So take full advantage of that trial period and run the platform through the ringer to make sure that you like everything about it. Make sure that you like the designer. Most of the email designers are either template driven or they're like a drag and drop builder. So get in there, build some emails, make sure that you like how that works. Make sure that you can create good looking emails in a reasonable amount of time, because you don't want to spend 2 hours creating an email when another platform may have a builder that you like or can work with better, and you can create an email in 20 minutes. That's going to cost you a lot of time in the long run. So look at things like the builders, the designers, the templates that they have. Make sure you like them. And one platform may only have 10 templates that you can use, where another platform has 400 templates that you can use, right? Is that important to you? Test the integrations, right? So hook up your website, see what kind of options you get, see how difficult or easy that is. Hook it up to your social media accounts, test if you can send out social media uh, posts through it, make sure that those integrations work and that they're not too hard to use or figure out. Look at their analytics and their data, make sure that it has all the key metrics that you want to analyze, that you've thought about in previous steps. So open rates, click rates, bounces, unsubscribers. Some platforms offer more analytics than you would ever want or care about. And some platforms don't give you those analytics until you supply or subscribe to higher tiers. So what kind of analytics are you going to need? Make sure that you can get to them and that you can understand them, and they are displayed in a clear and organized fashion where you can use those to your advantage. And then one thing that I like to do, or that I have done in the past, is test their support. Yeah, so like send them a question, see how fast they respond. Ask a hard question and see if they, will step up and get on your account and walk you through something, or maybe even, uh, I don't know. How good is their support, basically, is what I'm saying, because more than likely, you're going to need some sort of technical support as you walk through this if you're, just getting into it, or if you're a beginner and you want to go with a platform that you can trust their support, and they have timely support, and they're not just going to, send you 100 emails or send you to a tutorial on their website and then call it good. Support is a big thing. Test it out. I would suggest testing it out. Lastly, recommendations. So there's dozens of email marketing platforms out there, and I don't claim that this is an exhaustive list or even the best list. These are the ones that I have, some of the ones that I have tried. These are some of the ones that I have known people that have tried, and these tend to be the top 10 on most people's lists. So Mailchimp, and this list is not in any particular order, really. Mailchimp is the first one that came to my mind, the first one that most people are exposed to. As I alluded to earlier, they're a great beginner platform. The only issue that I have with Mailchimp is when you exceed their free tier requirements, they quickly become the most expensive platform out there. You'll want to, if you're already on Mailchimp or you're considering Mailchimp, they're not a bad platform by any means. They have most of the features and technical things that most people would want. It's just their pricing tiers that are higher than most of the other platforms out there. Consider that when you're looking at things. The ones that I tried to research are the ones that I looked at or have used that have free tiers or free trials. I marked with asterisks. The other ones I'm not 100% sure about. So you'll have to look into that yourself. MailerLite, that's the one that I use. It's the one that I'm most familiar with. I have never had any problems with them. Their automations are great. Their builder is great. Their integrations are great. Their tech support I've tested before through various other customers and people that I've set up with. They're who I recommend. They're not the cheapest. They're not they don't have like the cheapest tiers, but I've always had great results with them. So it's who I recommend. Aweber is kind of an advanced one. So they have a lot of things that people may not necessarily need, and they're not the cheapest either. But if you wanted to pick one and cost wasn't really a factor, and you wanted to have all the bells and whistles that you could grow into in the future, they would be probably one of the ones that I would suggest. Convertkit, I've never personally used Convertkit, but I know a lot of people who use Convertkit. They're a pretty advanced one. I know a lot of schools and institutions or small businesses use Convertkit. They're really, really popular and have been around for a long time. Them and Constant Contact. I've never used Constant Contact either, but I've heard good things about them. Sendinblue, I put this one on there because I was considering moving to them based on cost and features. And as Craig mentioned last week, they have or are one of the only ones that have text message marketing built into their platform as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, Sendinblue would probably be the one that I would send you to first to look at. Syn Fox is a newer one. I've actually used Syn Fox. They don't really have a whole lot of bells and whistles. They have most of the main features that you would need as a beginner. They have a free tier. Simplicity is really their main goal. And so their pricing tiers are very straightforward. There's no hidden, X amount of emails up to X amount of contacts. It's really straightforward. Their builders, their automations, and their sequences, everything is just really simple to use. I would recommend them for someone who is like maybe just a straight new at all of this stuff and doesn't know anything about email marketing or putting together emails or anything like that. It's just a really simple platform to use. Drip is another one that is really good about sequencing and automation. They have basically, when it comes to automation, they have basically most, if not all the other platforms beaten on the sequencing and automation stuff that you can do. They're kind of the ones that pioneered automation and drip campaigns and segmentation and feeding different lists. And it's a pretty complex platform, but they have a lot of stuff to offer. One that I've never used, but I actually found a really good list that I put a link to at the bottom here of a comparison of the email marketing platforms. I've never used them before. I think the name is weird, but Moosend, their avatar is like a cow, whatever. So check that one out. I don't really have any personal recommendation for them, but their platform looked good. And then Active Campaign is another one that's been around for a long time. They have a free tier. I've never used them, so I don't have a lot to say about them, but they come up on the top 10 lists that most people recommend. So that's a list if you want to screenshot that to take a look at them, or I'll send a link as usual to the slideshow that you guys can take a look at this list or download the slideshow yourself.
Landon?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you familiar with one called Create Mail? It's CREAT.email. I have, that's from Jetpack, and I'm on SiteGround for my website, and they provide that to me at no extra cost. So I'm just, it looks good so far to me, but I was just wondering if you're familiar with it.
I'm not. I've never used them before. Is it part of the SiteGround hosting package, or is it a service that's offered from WordPress and Jetpack?
Jetpack. It's when I put my website on there, it wasn't there. In fact, I didn't even notice it until last week when you were talking about CRMs, and so I went on and said, "Oh, they've got it." And so I looked into it, and it looks a lot like some of the stuff you've been talking about, and I've been sort of getting into it a little bit. And it's by Jetpack, and like I said, I don't know much about it. I just got into it, so I just wondered if you had any idea about it whatsoever. I have WooCommerce on there, I have Jetpack on there, and Jetpack originally there was a Jetpack on there right from the very beginning, but the Jetpack CRM looks like it's just a recent update. So I don't remember seeing it before.
Yeah, I've not heard of them or never used them. I would say if it's part of the Jetpack package, it's probably pretty tightly integrated or coupled with WordPress, since that is who owns Jetpack. is the Atomic or WordPress company. So yeah, give them a try and tell us what you think of them, because I know that there's probably a lot of other people that use WordPress for their website on here, and so
Thank you.
yeah, give us your feedback. No questions. Well, if you guys do think of other questions, I'd be more than happy to help. I knew that I wouldn't probably go the full hour with this presentation because there's just not a whole lot of subject material here to discuss. But I would just say, if you guys don't have email marketing in place, I would suggest that you really give it a hard look and try to figure out, how that fits into your marketing plan, or how you market your books or your products and stuff. And if you have any questions, in the future about setting it up or getting started with it, or I think we're going to do a presentation on some tips and tricks for getting started list building or adding subscribers to your list. We're going to do that in the next couple months. So we'll circle back around to this. If you guys have questions in the meantime, feel free to chat me up on Teams, or send me a message and let me know, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. I'm going to cancel my screen share here. Nancy, I guess I'll hand it back over to you if you have anything else.
I'm going to offer that I mostly use my email marketing straight from my website, which happens to be GoDaddy. But I did for quite some time use Constant Contact, and I liked it. And it was fairly easy. I just ended up finding at the moment it was easier for me to have everything in one spot rather than try to bring everything over. And I'm not saying what I'm using is the best by any means, but it's what's working for me currently. And they do let me do in GoDaddy a lot of what you said, but just as another one that somebody might want to try, I did and do enjoy Constant Contact. I kept my account with them because actually when I tried to close it, they offered me a deal that is so cheap, dollars a month. I'm like, okay, if you're going to offer that, I'll keep it, and I can go use it if I want to. So I don't know too much about any of the others. I've looked at Mailchimp and MailerLite, but I haven't really used them. But I do know a little bit about Constant Contact, and it's kind of nice.
Landon, I think my takeaway from this is that email marketing is fine and dandy thing, but what's most important, I think, is to be able to assess how effective it is on the analytics side. And so, you can send out all the emails that you care to do, but you need to understand just how effective it is, and that's where the analytics kicks in. And also, you mentioned, I think it was text, not email marketing, but text marketing is something that might be a little bit more effective than over email. And so that's something to check out, I think.
Yeah, text message marketing is, based on all the information that I've seen, is more effective. So you get better open rates, you get better click rates. Just kind of the nature of text messaging versus email. Like, a person may receive 100 emails a day, and there's more of a chance of your email kind of falling through the cracks. Whereas, I don't know about you guys, but I don't receive 100 text messages a day. And so if I receive a text message, I usually read it. Now that is becoming, I am starting to receive more spam text messages. Not sure about you guys, but I'll receive like a random text message of someone that I don't know, and it immediately goes into spam. But generally speaking, text message marketing, if done right, is more effective. I don't have a way that plugs into my my marketing stuff, but you guys may have a way that plugs into your marketing strategy. And if so, kudos to you, because everything that I've read is it's more effective. So
it sounds more personal.
Yeah, I think that's why it's more effective. I wish Craig was here to maybe shed some light on his experience with it, because he's the one that brought it up last week. But But yeah, going back to your earlier point, just it's just as with anything else, like if you're not evaluating how effective things are, then you're not really gaining the full benefit from using that technology or that platform. So just like social media, like every social media that you put out, you have the ability to go back and look at analytics of that post. If you're not looking at analytics of things and seeing how effective they are, and doing some evaluation of that, then you're not getting the full benefit of that platform. So analytics are a big part of email marketing for sure.
I know a lot of people that much rather look at their text than go to email. That seems to be the thing, But
Yeah.
I want to address one thing Eileen brought up last week, and for me, it only applies to the very first email. When someone is subscribing to my readers list, they get their confirmation email, and that may go into their spam. And so I can't really add them or write to them until they've confirmed. And so I don't know about future emails after that, how you deal with it, but where in my website where it invites them to sign up, I actually have a little sentence there saying, please check your confirmation email. Please check for your confirmation email. If it's not in your inbox, look elsewhere, because they can't even get started if they can't confirm. Now, after that, I don't think it's going into their spam in my case, but it sounded like Eileen had some going into spam. But I finally did put that clause there because too many people were, or at least a number of people were not getting it in their inbox. So that's something to think about, if you're looking for subscribers off your website.
Right. Yeah, and that's a good point. That is what is called a double opt-in. And so that just means that they kind of have to opt in twice. So they'll sign up for your list on your website or wherever it is that they sign up, and then they have to opt in the second time from that email that you send them. And that's actually a feature that you can toggle on or off on most platforms. And for that reason right there, I usually toggle it off because if they've given you your email, their email on your website to sign up, there's little reason to send them a second email to opt in because they've already kind of opted in. And so I don't know if that's a feature within the GoDaddy stuff that you're using, but you may look for that.
Yeah,
It's usually referred to as a double opt-in,
okay.
and I generally turn that off.
I will look for that because, I know I get confirmation emails too, but you're right. I mean, if I signed up, I signed up. So yeah,
Right.
I'll look at that. Thanks for that tip.
And that goes both ways. So you could double opt in or double opt out. And so I usually leave it off for opt in, and then I usually turn it on for opt out, so that they kind of have to double opt out if they're unsubscribing or whatever the case may be. I want to make sure that they for sure want to unsubscribe before I just remove them from the list. So
can I ask a question?
yes.
Nancy, when you put that line that people should check their spam folder, have you noticed a difference since you did that?
I think so. I don't think I've seen very many, and I don't have a huge list, but I don't think I've seen very many that say subscribed but unconfirmed. That's what my list will say. They've subscribed, but they're unconfirmed. And so what I would do, because my email would not automatically be sent to them or my blog because they weren't confirmed, I would just write them a personal note, a personal letter from my website and let them know that happened. That's how I've handled it, but I haven't had it happen for a while, no. So, but I think I'll opt out of that if I can find how to do that. I'll just make a call and find out. They always have the option to unsubscribe anyway. So if it was a mistake and they didn't really want to sign up, they can unsubscribe.
I'm interested in other platforms that people use. Is there other platforms that anyone's used before?
I'm with Nancy. I actually, because I was a band before I was a writer, I was kind of being the band mom because it was a family band. I had built a website for us. And then I moved it onto a platform called Bandzoogle. And Bandzoogle, I have loved it. They've got a really good mail list thing. You can divide up your mail list. I divided it up into areas of the country. So when I was letting people know, we're going to be in your area if you want a concert. So, it allowed me to do the dividing. It allows me to schedule the emails, so I can write 2 or 3 emails and schedule them at different times. It allows me to post notifications on my social media that, hey, this is my newsletter, because I'd also post it as a blog, each newsletter. It has a blog on there. It also now just started a subscription.
It sounds like they built like a fully fledged web and email platform and had the unfortunate short-sightedness to name it Band.
Yeah. But
Well,
anyway.
cool. Thanks, guys.
Next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was
Thanks,
great.
Landon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If this topic has helped you out in any way, we'd love for you to take just a second and leave us a comment or leave us a thumbs up on the video. It really goes a long way in helping us and helping the YouTube algorithm know that this is valuable content and to share it to other people. If you want to learn more about Christian Authors Community, we would encourage you to visit our website at authorscommunity.net. We hope that you guys have a wonderful day.